Greetings once again, and welcome to another devotional talk from my heart to yours. And I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at First Assembly in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And I'm so glad that you decided to stop by my office once again today, and allow me the privilege to share a thought with you that hopefully will be a blessing to you. Well, yesterday we started talking about fellowship and how good it is to have good, deep fellowship with other brothers and sisters, and how we need to avoid having fellowship with the world and yet not become isolationists. But there's some place where we're not going to have to worry about that, and that is in heaven one of these days. And in Revelation chapter 5, we get the picture of the ultimate fellowship when we experience the fullness of what we were created for, a relationship with the Creator. Take a look at the passage starting in verse 11. It says this, Revelation chapter 5. Then I looked, and I heard the voice of many angels, numbering thousands upon thousands and 10,000 times 10,000. And they encircled the throne and the living creatures and the elders. In a loud voice they sang, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them singing to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever. Imagine that scene, and imagine being a part of that worship service and that fellowship. And the truth is, folks, that is what we were created for. When we're created for fellowship, not only fellowship with other believers, but first and most importantly, fellowship with God. God designed us with a need for a relationship with Him. And one day we will experience that fellowship in all of its fullness. The Apostle Paul says, now we see through a glass darkly, but then we will see clearly. Our relationship with God now is only a small part of what we will experience when we go to be with Him and fellowship with Him throughout all eternity. Now, we don't want to be pie in the sky people who have their heads in the clouds all the time and are so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. But it is good to keep our minds focused on the fellowship to come throughout all eternity. It not only helps us to live with hope in the present, but also motivates us to live with anticipation for the future. Like the old song says, what a day that will be in sweet fellowship with God and with one another in heaven forever. And last Wednesday, in our prayer meeting, I was sharing from the book of Esther. And I'll just share this little thought with you. And the book of Esther took place around 483 BC, 483, almost 500 years before Christ. And that was as I was studying for that little Bible study that we have on Wednesday nights at the prayer meeting. It occurred to me, we're so wrapped up, and some of us are so into what's happening in our country right now, and we're kind of concerned and somewhat fearful, even, and what's going on, and so I thought, wow, 500 years before Christ, that puts us about 2,500 plus years away from the book of Esther and what happened back then in Babylon, and what happened to Esther and Mordecai, her uncle, and what they were going to do. They were going to there was an attack on the Jewish nation, the people that had been taken captive. They were going to actually kill them all off, just like Hitler tried to do. And so I was thinking, boy, it must have been a very disheartening and discouraging and fearful time for them back then, and for the whole world. It was in the ancient world. It was a crazy time. The dictators and the despots that were in control, and what if they didn't like you, the way you looked, just take him out, cut his head off. That's it. That's the end of it. Well, we've come a long way since then, especially in our country. We've taken the 5,000-year leap. There's a book called that. And, we're far removed from that. At least we have been. And so I was thinking, that we're quite a ways from that, 2,500 years. And then I brought it up to the present, and I thought, 2,500 years from now, I don't know what will happen on Earth. I don't know what will happen to Earth, but I know what will happen to this little parcel of dust of the earth that God's made, and to my brothers and sisters in Christ. You know what? 2,500 years from now, for sure we won't be here on earth, but we will be in heaven. And we will just be getting started in all of eternity. Now, isn't that great to think about that? Think about that fellowship that will go on forever and forever. Man, that is awesome. I hope that doesn't discourage you today or make you think, well, yeah, that's a thought about death. But it's not about death. It's a thought about life, and life eternal. 2,500 years from now, man, all of our problems are going to be over if we live for the Lord and we're faithful, and we'll be living in our mansion over the hilltop, and we'll be having a wonderful time of fellowship. I don't know what it'll all be like, but I know it will be beyond description. So let that hope fill you today, and think about the fellowship that we were created for with God. And look forward to that with anticipation and great hope. Well, God bless you today, Lord willing. Come to the prayer meeting tomorrow night, Wednesday night, that is, 6:30, and come and share in prayer. And God bless you. And Lord willing, we'll see you next Sunday, February the 7th. It will be Communion Sunday, and we'll be sharing together like that. So anyway, in the meantime, till tomorrow, have a great day and a great night. See you soon. Bye-bye.